Sushma Rajagopalan, thank you so much for joining us. What does disruption mean to you? How would you define it?
Disruption to me is when fundamentally the way in which we consume something changes dramatically. Let's take the fundamental e-commerce. It's a disruption. It's a disruption from physically going to a store and buying something versus what you buy, you click it and it comes. In fact, there's this beautiful ad of animated ad where it's about an olden Maharani and Raja talking about wanting a Taj Mahal erected, and it comes much later after she's become old. Whereas today a gift can be sent literally, before even somebody thinks about it. Now that is disruption, right? Uber is a fantastic example of disruption. At some point in time, ATM was a disruption. So I think at the heart, disruption is something that fundamentally dramatically changes how you consume, whether it is information, whether you buy, whether you listen to music. That to me is disruption.
Okay, from a leadership point of view, what are the challenges that you face as far as disruption is concerned?
Number one, the biggest leadership challenges on disruption is not to be overtaken by it. Okay, so as a leader, number one, your consummate problem is to envision where disruption could come from. Secondly, if you are a disruptor, the ability to carry your people along with you, there will be naysayers. For every disruption, there will be naysayers. Because it hasn't worked in the past, will it work again? Okay? So one is being on the ball to be able to figure out when, what form is disruption going to happen. Second, are you going to be disrupted or the disruptor? And third, how are you going to carry your people along with you?
Can you give us specific examples of disruption challenges that you might have faced as a leader?
See, currently the IT services industry is going through a transformation. I wouldn't call it disruption yet, but it could be disruptive, especially if the fundamental paradigms of the industry get challenged, i.e., this is an industry which is heavily people based. But the minute you have machine learning or autonomics coming into the picture, the entire paradigm of the industry is going to change. How do you prepare yourself for that today? How do you face that? And these are things, not just me, a lot of the industry leaders are actually facing it at the moment as we speak.
And how do you overcome it?
I've got my 4 C's, okay? I think first and foremost, you have to be very clear in terms of who you want to be. As long as your business strategy is extremely clear and you can clearly articulate that to all the constituencies, the employees, the clients, prospective employees, the management, your investors if you have any, the ability to communicate what that future direction is going to be extremely clear. And third, you have to have the courage to act. Okay? Without this, I think it's going to be very difficult to overcome any disruption.
Digital is a very widely used term today. Does technology drive digital or is it vice versa?
Digital, is it driven by technology or technology drives digital? I've got a very firm conviction here that it all starts with business. Identifying business use cases, identifying business problems, and coming up with innovative solutions for it. Technology is an enabler. Okay? In some cases, it can be technology itself can be the solution, but by and large, it starts with identifying that business use case or a problem and then throwing technology to solve it.
Okay, is it important to have a plan for digital? Is it possible at all actually?
Absolutely it is. Every business, okay, take ITC for instance, I mean we have multiple businesses, each and every business including my own, we are all looking at what is the next generation, what is the next mantra, what does it take to be digital? And this impacts, across all industries, whether you're in banking or whether you're a CPG company or you're in training aids company. You pretty much, absolutely, it is imperative, and this is where ITC Infotech is setting up. We are very heavily business consulting led, and it's both business tech and business consulting as well as technology led, to be able to lead people to even ask the right questions. And then once you've asked the right question, to help blueprint and provide a roadmap in terms of how to solve these business problems, both from a business standpoint as well as from a technology standpoint.
So far, technology has been driven by, finding solutions to known problems. How do you actually find solutions for problems that are unknown?
I think the issue is about the minute you start thinking, who's going to disrupt? How are you going to be disrupted? Which, if you think about it, on one hand, should be part and parcel of everybody's strategy. Okay, disruption is par for the course, and it's not anything that today we are talking about a technology-led disruption, but disruptions have been there in industries for years. So the key is asking the right questions. You don't know what you don't know, but at least you should be thinking about, how are you going to disrupt? How are you going to get disrupted? Who's going to take your business away, right? That is fundamental ethos of strategy.
And finally, what are the top 2 or 3 disruptions that you see happening in 2016?
There will be more adoptions of some of the disruptions that have already happened. You will find much more efficient models that came in. Okay, could we have an Uber Plus? It's possible. The entire concept of challenger banking and digital banking, I think that's the way we are paying today for transactions is changing. I expect the IT services industry to change gradually, albeit in terms of using more and more technology and machine learning to actually come up with innovative solutions. What else can I think of? I think the whole concept of the connected world, okay, we may actually see much more pervasive examples which will impact not just the businesses that we run, but it might impact homes, it might impact education, it will impact pretty much everything. So I would say connectedness is probably going to be the single biggest disruption. Connectedness is probably going to be the single biggest disruption.
All right, Sushma, thank you so much for joining us.